Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Podcast. We are looking at week 6 here in the NFL. I got Dietz back on the show. We ready to get back into week 6? I'm about to shamelessly promote how awesome we've been, dude.
Well, yes, and I'm ready to completely shatter our great run.
It's when it happens. It's when you start talking about how well you're doing that you stop doing well. So
don't look at the account balance sheet. Don't look at it. Just keep pushing ahead. Endeavor forward, because the more you look backwards, the more you're chasing up. It's a new week. There's a lot of new shit happening. We got to keep our eye on the prize, because there's a lot of weird lines out there today. But yeah, no, do a little bit of shameless self-promotion.
Yep, stay sharp. And I'm going to, because all that said, even if we go a little bit cold or like are slightly below 500, which seems not likely for us.
We got some cushion.
We got cushion. Yeah, we got some chips to play with right now. So, we're big stack and we can kind of push in a little bit and try to muscle these guys around here in these sports books. So, here's where we're at for Dietz and I. Last week, we went 13-5 for a total of 8.9 units. Call it 9. So just for those of you who are following at home, that means $100. And I'll talk about the unit size, because the unit measurements are relevant to how we are doing here.
Sometimes we say double down. Sometimes we say put a half on it. Yeah.
Yep. And so I'm going to be a little bit more specific about it for people, because I am showing this record on screen for those who are watching on YouTube, just so you know what the pattern is here on the show. You should be following on Twitter and IG and on YouTube as well, because that's where these picks are going. So if you're watching this video anywhere, fine, you're getting it. But these picks specifically are going in social media form in shorter form on Twitter and IG and all that. On Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, so what we call Sunday night's not really an island game, but Thursday night and Monday night, we call the island games. There's just those games on each of those nights. I'm doing some stuff with my buddy Levy, who's I'll call him a fantasy football expert. He spends enough money and he makes enough money on it for me to call him that. And he at this point,
is that the criteria these days?
Yeah, for fantasy football expert, unless there's a degree somewhere that I'm not aware of on maybe LinkedIn or
the University of Matthew Berry.
That would be, how to wear polo shirts without buttoning 3 top buttons.
The Matt Berry Institute.
The Matt Berry, MBI. The thing about Levy is he's a fantasy football nerd, so he's looking at players very closely. He hasn't translated it into betting in sort of regular sports betting, but I have used him as just a well of knowledge that I'm just soaking up and going, all right, give me all this stuff. I'm literally reading him markets and going, what is this? What stands out here? Here's what I was thinking. What do you think? And he's breaking down film in his spare time. So he's giving me some pretty good stuff on it. I've used that to make some really nice parlays the last couple of weeks, a 10-1 that we hit and a 9-1 that we hit last night on Thursday night.
Lander ladder.
Oh yeah. We just, wow. Patent pending. That's about to be trademarked. The Lander ladder.
TM next to it.
Yeah. Thank you. Lander ladder TM circle, because that's worked out. So I'm going to continue. It's the same thing as taking an alt line that is, increasing the odds in your favor. Once you believe in game theory and script, that's the Dieter play. That's how you got. I think it's how you got your smoker. Is that how you pay for the smoker?
Yeah, my wife for a stretch said that, hey, I know that a decent amount of money is being put down on certain markets that might not be the stock, and I don't have a problem with that. I just want to let you know we just moved into this new house, and I expect the proceeds to go into the house. Don't just be rolling that shit over into the next game. No. If you're playing, you're going for a purpose. And then that way you're a little sharper. This is a good woman will keep you right. So yeah, there's a lot of things. Our house is more or less furnished by that LSU championship season and Joey Burrow's monstrous game in the national championship game that got a new Green Mountain Grill smoker, new patio furniture, the alt line, baby. It paid out. And by the way, this is the way you should really go about your betting. Make sure that you need something and then ride it all on something to double your money. That's how you have to do it, right?
That's investing 101. If it's about accruing money, it's just money. What are you doing with the money?
No, do a thing with the money. Just make sure you need it. If you have hospital bills or certain debts, make sure you're gambling that one. No, I'm kidding.
Make sure you're putting your gambling winnings into that, because that's a good use of your bankroll.
That said, every time I open up that smoker, which is a lot, the carcinogens are high in this household. I
Yeah.
think about Joey Burrow and arguably the greatest college football season of all time. And now I get sad because his calf done broke.
We'll see how it is. I do want to touch on that game here as we look at week 6,
Yeah.
because all of that stuff said, the kids are hot. We're on fuego, but
Yep.
it is a new week, and we got to stay sharp. Like you
It's
said, you
weird
can't get
lines.
you can't get watered down in success, but you can look for where maybe some teams are doing that. So we're gonna
Yeah.
start with sides and totals, and then move into player props. Last week on player props, we were 9-3, up nearly
Mhm.
6 units. On sides and totals, went 4-2 plus 3.1 units. That's pretty common. Sides and totals are hard, and you really
Yes.
are just playing numbers at that point. If you're doing it like a sharp, you're really just
Mhm.
looking at numbers and just going, all right, at what point in the week am I getting the number I want, and where do I think it's going to move? And that's the name of the game. So we're not that sharp. We're doing other stuff as well, but I'm going to kick it off with a teaser and allow us, because it was worked so well last week, and it was a little bit cowardly because it still hit. It
Yeah.
was last week. It was like the Lions and the Dolphins, which just was easy money, and
It
it
was
could have
easy
just been
money. I
parlayed.
took I took I took both of those guys straight up.
Yeah.
I understood. We talked through it with the teaser. It made a lot of sense. If you have any trepidation, tease it. You can have a good gut feeling, but a little bit of trepidation, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. Play the tease. Rock.
Yeah.
You're still winning. You're
And
still winning.
I'm already on pressure medication. I'll just take the win without feeling like, my everything's going to increase because of watching Tua throw a pick six from his own
Right.
4-yard line or whatever.
Right.
That ain't worth it, right? And that
Right.
was a wonderful indication of how bad the Giants are, because he tried to hand them that game. So we're going to
Whew.
go back to fading them, and we're going to go ahead and take. I don't like fading dogs for more points. I don't like doing that. I like
I agree.
taking a big favorite and just getting it to a number that I like. That feels like me controlling things.
Well, I mean, by the way, there's really nothing else you can tease a 15.5 point underdog to. Like, we're gonna run
So
this
here,
thing
let
up
me
to
explain how I did this.
21. Like, what
Let
are
me
you
explain how I
talking
did this.
about?
Let me explain how I did this. Yeah, exactly. When you need an extra touchdown to make you feel better about
Yeah.
it.
Like, I don't feel
The
great about 15.5 in general. That's such a massive line.
then stop, right? And at that point, if yeah, just whatever. You're
I'd tease
finding a
it.
number
I
you
think
like.
it's a good tease here.
Yeah, so but here's what I actually did for the majority of the bankroll that I'm spending on fading the Giants and riding with the 49ers. I've seen what
Mhm.
I need to see, and I know who's playing quarterback for
Mhm.
Cleveland, and I know enough. So I had to, on the book that I was using, you can still get some 9.5s for San Francisco, at least on like a
Yeah.
couple places.
I mean,
I
it's
would,
only by the time you listen to this, it's probably 10, if not 10.5. It might get up to 11 by kickoff.
and my primary book was offering it at 10 when I hit it this morning. And so I just bought a half a point. I just bought the hook for them to get it to minus nine and a
Mhm.
half. And I had to buy a half a point on the Buffalo game as well, because when I hit it, it was 14. It's 15 and a half in some places. That was
Yeah.
probably some overreaction news to Daniel Jones being out. How much of a downgrade is Tyrod? They're both just would be
You
running
can
for their
argue it's an
lives.
upgrade.
Precisely. Like there's not like he's at least more reliable in certain situations when it comes to decision making under
Mhm.
pressure. That's where Daniel Jones is awful, decision making under pressure. So,
The $40 million
and he's
man.
going to be under a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought the half a point there.
I like the Niners play. And I have the Niners defense as an anytime touchdown at plus 500 in this game. I have a very hard time imagining a circumstance in which the Niners defense doesn't score as many points as the Cleveland Browns offense with PJ at quarterback. Like
Yep.
it was rough with Dorian Thompson Robinson. Like I get it. I understand why the Browns went away from that. This is not a better option. At least at least the kid could run.
Yeah.
PJ can't run. He's just stuck in there. And he's
Yeah.
gotten shots and he's a sharp guy and all this stuff. The weapons you could argue are there, but this offense is just anemic. And if it was going up against, I don't know, the Giants or some other team with a bad defense, I could maybe be talked into taking Cleveland in that big number, but not against San Francisco. Not against San Francisco. And by the way, this thing had trap game written all over it for the Niners
Yeah.
when it was Deshaun Watson possibly playing. But quarterbacks are destiny in this league. PJ Walker is just not an NFL caliber quarterback. You have the Niners pass rush, which added Randy Gregory, just like
Saw that.
fly by night, just little clandestine adding of Randy Gregory to be next across from Nick Bosa. Javon Hargrave's been incredible. They got dudes up front. We know that. They got the best linebackers in the NFL. We know that. I think their safeties are really good. Cornerbacks are just fine. They might get some yards. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Getting into the end zone, I'm not so sure. Their lowest any touchdown score is Jerome Ford at plus 300.
Wow. Well, so here's
It's
the very interesting thing about this game is that their team total opened at 16.5. When Deshaun was still questionable, it opened at 16.5 for the Browns. And my
yeah.
buddy Will was saying, you need to hit that. It's going down. It's at, I think, 11.5 in some places.
I mean, it's brutal. And by the way, like think about where those points are going to be coming from. That's going to be late, nothing to lose, let it rip. Maybe Niners second and third string defense out there. Like I cannot imagine a circumstance where the 49ers listen, Cleveland's defense is very good. Like
Very.
they could limit the number of points. The Niners might not score 30 this week for the first time all season.
Right.
The whole point. I love saying this. I sometimes think we forget, the actual point. The whole point is to score more points than the other team. It doesn't matter if you limit them or you score a lot of points yourself. You have to score
Yeah.
more points than the other team. And in this case, I have a hard time seeing the Niners not putting at least 2 touchdowns on the board, and I have a very hard time seeing 1 touchdown on the board for the Browns. So, like, what
Right.
are we talking about here?
No, yeah, there's nothing there. You can still get it 9.5 on FanDuel.
I'd pound 9.5. I
Yeah,
just they've beaten good teams by multiple touchdowns. What the hell are they going
yep,
to do to the Browns?
100%. I don't care where it is. It had trap game written on it in part because of coming off a Sunday night football game against the Cowboys where they just
Mhm.
mashed them into complete minced
Yeah,
meat. But
yeah,
like in this game, there are no weapons even on the other side that you worry about. It's a similar concept to playing the big favorites last week, where it was just like, look, I understand that crazy things happen in football, but that crazy thing did happen in that Giants game with the
right.
Dolphins, and they still didn't score another touchdown other
That's
than
kind of
that
where
one,
I'm at. Like,
right?
even if you add in Niners letdown, 10 a.m. Pacific start for them, coming off the Cowboys, even if you add all that up, like, where would you set this line? 16? Like, honestly, I
Between
feel,
11 and 15.
yeah, well, nice margin there.
Just
Uh,
wanted to be honest.
yeah, that's fair.
15 feels
Honestly, this
high,
game I think should have a larger line than Buffalo and the Giants.
which is massive.
It's
And
15 and a
the
half.
other part of this tease, and what's I do want to give Cleveland's defense some flowers because it sucks that we just have to
They're
like
awesome.
poo poo this team in general, but they're number one in so many things that count on defensive EPA if you
Mhm.
believe in that as a metric, and then rush and pass defense pass defense, you can't pass on them. They've been absolutely bananas there. They have had some decent matchups when it comes to bad quarterbacks, but
Yes.
I'm still giving them definitely a lot of the benefit of the
I
doubt.
question I question their linebackers. When you're going up against a Shanahan-like offense, look at the linebackers because the entire point of a Shanahan offense, whether it's Mike McDaniel running it, I don't know if Kevin Stefanski doesn't seem to run the Cleveland offense anymore, so that's an interesting point.
Right.
Uh, like anytime you're looking at one of those wide zone rhythm passing offenses, it's the linebackers because the linebackers oftentimes have multiple things that they need to do given certain circumstances. And those offenses are predicated on putting players in conflict, making them have to decide between 2 things that they have to do on every single play.
Yep.
And I just don't trust that the Niners won't be able to move the ball a bit through the air. And I feel pretty comfortable with them being able to move it on the ground. Elijah Mitchell might be back. Jordan Mason has looked really good. Christian McCaffrey had an MVP first 4 weeks of the season. I don't think it will be pretty, but I also don't think it will be close. So that's where we're at. I like the tease on it if you want to get into that.
I just bought a point. Yeah, I bought a
Yeah,
point and parlayed them together basically, you know.
I like just playing I like buying a point, both of the favorites, and just try to go stress free on it.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good way to parlay.
Sorry. So yeah, I should be clear. I kind of mixed up what I was saying here.
Yeah,
The 1.5 units is for plus 220, not minus 120. The other
that's
tease
on
that I
there.
did,
Yeah.
I actually teased those 2 teams at smaller spreads, but I
Okay.
made that a little bit more confusing than I need to because by just buying the half a point for the Niners and the full point for the Buffalo Bills,
Mhm.
parlaying them together still got me plus 220. So the full
Yeah.
unit and a half is to win 3.3 units.
I like
on
that.
this one.
I think that's a
And
good play. I think that's sharp. You don't have to have the massive margin, especially with favorites. Just if you can take any plus money, take it.
yeah, and so that's why, like, I am putting a decent amount on both these games in the standpoint that there is a tease out there now for me that's at to get both these teams under. So the Buffalo Bills would be at +6. They're -6.5 rather, and then
Mhm.
we've got the 49ers at -4.5 as well because they
Love
were
it.
still 8, so it was climbing. So that's a tease that's -120. I feel really good about that. That's got a full unit on it. The unit and a half is to win some decent coin this week because yeah, I'm
Mhm.
kind of tired of just watching these games be complete blowouts and going, why did I need the 6 points? What
Yeah.
made me think I needed it?
So you did the teaser anyway. You just
So I
made
went
sure
for
you
the
still
teaser
had
to
it.
sort of cover my bases because I'm still got a lifeline to the side of the pool.
Yeah.
Like I'm still holding on to the edge, but like I'm
Your
almost on
mom
the
still
deep
has
end
you on a leash at the mall.
a little bit. Yeah, but like it's got a lot of slack. I can run in and out of all the
Okay.
TCBYs and all
Okay.
that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Um,
Don't let
that's
you
really
go.
it. The Dolphins is the other part of this as well because they're in
Mm.
they're another massive favorite, and I'm just at this point I was a little hesitant to include them in teasers. I saw them as the team that could most likely blow this for me, partly
Mhm.
because I saw them try to do it so much in that Giants game for the first half of it. They really
Yeah.
just did everything they could to not win that to allow the Giants to hang around,
You
and
also have
and they
Ashan out and kind of a new
that
running back rotation that matters.
they have the weaker defense, even though there's so many injuries on that Bills defense now, which I'll
Mhm.
keep that in mind when they play a team that I would be worried about. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
who
this
your
week
defense
is
is
not
against the
bad.
Giants, right?
Yeah.
So, but the Dolphins still have the weakest defense of those. Obviously, the Niners having the best defense of the three.
Mhm.
Like that's where, like, even if some randomness happens in that game, because there's at least a few weapons that I can name on the Panthers. The thing that just made me go, never mind, I don't care if I can get the Dolphins under 2 touchdowns. I mean, obviously, if you want to talk about the head-to-head stuff, that's fine. But then you just need to look at the injury report at this point for the Panthers, who have 6 starters out already. Miles Sanders still questionable. The defensive backs at this point, they have 2 starters left of any of them. There's just nothing there anymore. They
I
already
mean,
had too many holes.
could this be construed as a positive? It's not like the other starters are
I
doing great.
know. My only
Like maybe some young guys come in there and surprise, bring
Here's
a
what
little
I was
juice.
thinking about that because I agree with you there. I'm always thinking, how does this go wrong?
Yeah, I've
The
known
thing
you a
about
long
that
time. Yeah,
is, like, yeah. The thing about that is though, that's on a player by player basis. That might be something
yeah,
I buy into. You're talking about half your defense. How
yeah.
many hidden gems you got on that bench over there?
Yeah, why were all those guys on the bench? At a certain point, at a certain point, you're playing the lottery here. Like,
Keanu Reeves ain't walking out that door for some replacements. You know what I mean?
all right, Gene. I like it. What are you going to do with it?
I'm just gonna hit it. 13 and a
You're
half.
just taking 13 and a
Yeah.
half. I see it at 14 in some spots. You're just taking it. Okay.
Yep. I already hit the 13 and a half because once I saw the injury report fully cleared like that, I was good to go. And then as far as adding them to anything else, I don't really need to at this point. I think I've got my bets down and I feel good about them.
All right. So with the favorites, you're taking the Dolphins. You're just taking the full line
Yep.
at -110. And
Correct.
then you are buying a half point and a point, if I remember correctly.
You got it.
San Francisco and Buffalo, respectively, taking that as a parlay at +210,
224.
224.
Yep.
I
If you're
love it.
watching on YouTube, you got the tickets up. So yeah, but thank you for making that
I
easy
just
for
I
the
just want
listeners.
I just want to make sure we're clear. Do you have any non-double digit lines this week that you'd like to play?
Just one.
Okay. What do you got?
No, I do have two. I am gonna ride with the Bengals. I am.
Ooh,
Everything
I don't know about that.
I know. Everything in me says, okay, well, let me not phrase it as I'm gonna. We can have a conversation about because I haven't laid that bet down at all.
Okay.
I was trying to convince 2 people that I am a believer in the Seahawks and
Mhm.
that the Bengals beat a team by 2 touchdowns that was already injured with its best player, not good, bad showing from its quarterback, and it has a very
Mhm.
bad defense in the Cardinals. And if you're using that as your measuring stick for why they're back, I don't agree with that. That was my point, and I'm a Seahawks believer. I'm a truther. I do like what I see from that team. And when I look at the things that matter, like how they rank in very important categories, like being able to run the ball on offense, it's
Mhm.
incredible how great their offensive line has been.
Mhm.
They're eighth in offensive DVOA. They are number 2 in rushing offense, EPA, and success rate as well, because they just get chunk yardage. And then a lot of times they've got like 6 runs of 25 yards plus at this point, so they can eat it up in tons. Like, this Bengals defense is going to be on the field a lot without the ability to stop Kenneth Walker and company. So maybe I'm now talking myself back into it because all I needed was one person who was actually on my side to believe in me.
I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you at all. I mean, I don't believe in this Bengals
Yeah,
team
no,
at
but
all.
that's what I'm saying. I needed you to come in and be like, no, dude, you were right to
No.
think the Seahawks
Okay.
were the better
So
team.
let's just go over what happened last week. As astutely predicted by your boy, the Bengals had to have it. Had to have it. And what did they do when they had to have it? Exactly what any moron with a microphone and 3 working brain cells thought they would do. And I'm speaking of myself, of course. Just throw it to fucking Jamar Chase every play. Just throw it to Jamar every single play. Do you think Pete Carroll is going to allow that to happen? Full stop. Do you not think that Pete Carroll is going to bracket Jamar Chase? He still might get 100 yards, but he ain't going for a $192 and 15 receptions and 3 touchdowns. That wasn't Joe Burrow. That was Jamar. Everything that Burrow had that wasn't Jamar was not terribly impressive and certainly not very mobile. You're dealing with a Carolina pass rush that, or I'm sorry, a Cardinals pass rush that is okay. I think that is the one area where you could say, hey, Cincy has a shot here because Seattle has no pass rush. But man, they have a secondary, and that
So here's what's
everyone goes,
confusing.
oh, what's up?
Help me understand this, because, and maybe what you're going to say is, because I need to interrupt you about the secondary, because everyone, when you say that Pete Carroll's not going to allow it to happen,
Mm-hmm.
here's 3 different wide receiver combos that they've played and their stats.
Yeah.
Carolina, this one hurts them the most.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina with Andy Dalton, Thielen and Chark combined for 231 and two tutties. In
Combined.
Detroit,
Yeah.
you've got Amon-Ra, Reynolds,
Mm-hmm.
and Khalif Raymond combined for 212 and a tutty.
Mm-hmm.
Puka and Tutu, they combined for 238 without a tutty in week 1.
Yeah.
What was he doing in those weeks that he allowed both those guys to go off in all those games?
There's a difference between both and one. I really think that. There's a difference between having 2 guys go off. By the way, if you have 2 guys go off, that's your passing offense. I mean, that's a cumulative thing. You go, oh, well, Puka and Tutu. Well, who else was catching the goddamn ball on the Rams that week? So
Wasn't
that's
Higbee.
the entirety of the passing offense. I'm not implying in any way that Seattle has some dominant, Legion of Boom, no fly zone pass defense. What I'm saying is that they have at least slightly competent players there.
Yeah.
And their issue that they have is that they don't have any pass rush. They got linebackers that are stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And while those guys can cover pretty well for about 5 seconds, you can't have them covering for 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Now, that's a real issue against quarterbacks that can extend the play in the pocket, make things happen. That normally is Joe Burrow. That's not Joe Burrow this year. So if you're going to do the quick passing game that Joe Burrow has to do because that he's in shotgun, the cap is all messed up. If you're going to do that, Pete is going to cheat up. He's going to have a bracket. Safeties are going to be all over Chase because the second option I don't think is going to be readily available. I don't think that I don't think Irvin is going to have a big game. I don't think that I just don't see the Bengals replicating what they did against the Cardinals. And by the way, it should be noted, while the Bengals had a great offensive game, I think Arizona had more of a bad offensive game than the Bengals had a good defensive game.
Without
I think
question.
that Josh Jobs, he is who we thought he was. I mean, just like he's a good player.
I know.
He's fine. I don't think he
Sputtering now.
shouldn't be starting, but he's like the 30th best starter in the NFL. Like,
Yeah.
he's unquestionably one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. And it was nice that we all had this, but the book is out and there is no more chapters left for him to add to it. So Geno is above average. Average isn't very high these days, but Geno's an above average quarterback. He's got weapons. Tyler Lockett is going to tear this Bengals secondary up. And I love the run game that Seattle has. I'm not saying it won't be a shootout. What I'm saying is you're telling me that the Bengals are favorites, and I'm saying give me everything you got on the other side. 2.5 on the road. I'll take it. I'll take it all day. I'll play it up a little bit. Give me anybody against the Bengals until the Bengals prove it 2 weeks in a row, and I don't think they will.
I'm gonna add one thing before I.
Yeah,
Devin Witherspoon was out for a couple of those games I said. He's very good.
that's what
Very,
I'm
very,
saying.
very
Like,
good. That could
I
be a
just
part of it all.
Jonathan Gannon has done a nice job in Arizona. I-
The defense
they
ain't
just
it.
their defense doesn't have dudes. It has Buda Baker, who's a
Yeah.
freaking strong side linebacker.
Yeah.
Like it ain't that ain't the strong point of their team. They're well coached. They're getting more out of those guys than they probably should, but that only makes you like the 20th best defense in the NFL. Seattle is probably they can be average on a good day, and I think that's all you need. I think that's all you need. If Joe Burrow is not going to be able to take what Seattle's defense gives him, which is time, because he doesn't trust that calf, man, I don't know what we're talking about here.
Are you taking
And
the money line there?
no,
Plus 130?
no, because the Bengals do have better players on offense, and in a shootout, I like home teams.
Mm,
Um, so I think I'll just take the points and not worry about it too much, especially when we're within a field goal. Normally, I would say let's go money line. Let's just put it all on there. But on the road, possible shootout. I might take a total. I might take an
yeah.
over.
Yeah, I like an
But
over.
I think I'll just play the points,
Yeah.
and if I want to, yeah, I think I'll just take the points. I might even buy it up so that I can push on a field goal.
Yeah, I think you that would be the play. If you're not going to go for the money line, you want the points, you might as well get the half there. Obviously, games can end within 1 and 2 points. We get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would still say that you might want to just get the number that the fixed number that you know
Do
is
we have a
good.
do we have a Jamar Chase
So I'm
reception
all over
yards
that.
total?
I'm all that's my I was gonna keep it for player props, but that was my one thing I wanted to say about Devin
What's
Witherspoon.
the
I just wanted to
number?
give him his flowers before I said, but I'm still just riding the shit out of Jamar Chase this week. He's a lot of my favorite plays. I've got an anytime touchdown article I write for thelines.com.
Mhm.
That is something that we are 6-0, everybody. Hopefully you're following along there. 6-0 the last
Giddy
2
up.
weeks, and I am flying with Jamar Chase. I already hit him with a full unit for anytime touchdown at minus 110. I hit him for 2+ touchdowns at plus 650. I hit him to hit the first touchdown of the game for plus 650 as
I
well.
like that.
That secondary
I
as
love first touchdowns.
yeah, they're great. Kittle was a really nice one the other day against the Cowboys at 13 to
Yeah,
1.
nice.
But yeah, the Jamar Chase stuff, like it is
What's the receiving yards total on him?
86 and a half,
I'm sorry, what? 86 and a half?
86.5.
He had 192 yards last week. I mean, I'll take the over on that.
Great.
That's a lot of respect for the Seattle defense. I thought I was giving it. Oh boy.
Man, this Seattle defense versus the pass is very bad. 27th in pass defensive success rate. They are not getting the pass rush in there at all. They really are not blitzing. I mean, they're trying to blitz. It's not working out very well at all. They're not getting to anybody, and that's just leaving their guys high and dry. Which is why when you have good wide receivers that they go up against,
That's my
they
thought.
do they give up yards, and
Chase is going to
that's the
get
scary
Chase is going
thing.
to get half of that 82 and a half on one play. Like
Yep.
but I just don't think it's a repeatable formula for Cincinnati. I think Chase is I wrote it down before you gave me the line. I'm like, what would I put it at? I said 115 in the tutty
Wow.
for Jamar Chase. That's what I think. 115
Right.
in a tutty.
No,
That's a
that's the way to do it.
pretty normal game for a player of his caliber. I know he hasn't been up to that this year, but like
He might not have
he averaged 115 in a tutty last year.
he might not have been looked up to it so far this year, but I will say this: it's not for lack of participation and usage. He soaks up usage, complete wide receiver sponge. Like he's got
Yeah.
he's number one in routes run, fifth in target share, and second in targets overall. He's got the second most receiving targets in the red zone. 10 times that he's targeted inside the 20, pretty much usually in the end zone. Like, yeah, finally got the 3 tutties last week. I'm so all over that for him this week. And then I do think I'm starting to feel like realize that my favorite bet in this game is the over. that you can still get
Yeah.
45.5. I think both these teams are good for getting close to 30. And
Mhm.
that's the thing that scares me about taking Seattle. I'm not going to bet them. I'm not going to take them in the picks pool. I'm not going to
Okay.
take any points with them. I'm going to ride Jamar Chase and just feel like I know one angle of this game is. Oh, and Kenneth Walker the third, by the way. I'm just going right into player
Let's
props,
do it.
but
Let's
he's
do it.
walking in the end zone, and you can still get it at plus money, dude. It's plus 105 for him to
Mhm.
still get it into the end zone for Kenneth Walker the third. We're talking like he's still sixth in rushing touchdowns, and he's played one fewer games than everybody that's ahead of him.
People do like Charbonnet. People like the kid,
He
but
hasn't gotten vultured. That's why I keep going back
yeah.
to it. Everyone was really worried about him getting vultured this year, and he's still seventh in running back, snap share inside the red zone. He's got the sixth most totes inside the goal line as well, like in goal to go situations. He's a menace when he's running inside the goal line.
Yeah, he's
He's
a
also
dude.
got the speed. I love his just continual touchdown prop, and if it's going to continue to be plus money,
Mhm.
then that's another one I like because I like a shootout in this one, so I'm probably going to go over in it, and that's
That's
how
where
I
I'm
play
at.
it.
We've talked too much about this
Yeah.
game.
Anything else that you like on sides and totals? I mean, I'll let you get yours
Yeah,
in.
no, I got a couple.
Yeah.
I like the Eagles -7 at the Jets. I don't think that the Eagles are as good as they were last year. I also think that the Jets are getting way too much respect right now on the offensive side of things. We have seen the Eagles defense, which yes, it's taken half a step back. It is still elite. It is still one of the five best, maybe, five. I feel comfortable saying
Mhm.
defenses in the NFL. Zach Wilson is still not good, and I know that he's got a top receiver, and I know that they switched over to Brees Hall after taking their sweet time and running Dalvin Cook into the back of the line of scrimmage far too often. I know that there are some weapons. I just think that the Eagles are going to eat them up. They just eat them up in a way that they've eaten up a lot of quarterbacks already this year, and they certainly did it last year. And I am also starting to see a little bit of positive momentum in the offensive game for the Eagles, where A.J. Brown is starting to come alive a little bit more. I think this is a big Devontae
Yeah.
Smith game. We know that Swift is the dude. I feel pretty good about the Eagles here, who, by the way, haven't lost a goddamn game. They haven't looked as good as they did last year, but they haven't lost a goddamn game yet. A lot closer, but 7 points at New York. That's not, there's no issue in travel or home field advantage or any of that crap. Like, I don't understand how this is not a double digit line. I think that if this game had happened somehow before that Jets Chiefs game, where we all watched on national TV Zach Wilson somehow perform admirably, especially compared to Patrick Mahomes, we'd be talking about this game in the same realm as Dolphins and Panthers and Niners and Browns and Bills and Giants. This is the same thing to me. And so if you're telling me it's 7, I'm gonna play it up to 10, 11. I don't see this game being close at all. All due respect to the Jets
Don't say that.
defense.
Don't say
I
that.
mean, no, like legitimately, all due respect to the Jets
Okay.
defense,
Okay,
but
that's fair.
like,
Defense specifically, yeah.
yeah, no, I have no respect for the Jets offense. Like Robert Saleh has a great defense. Great offense beats great defense. And I still think that the Eagles have a great offense. They certainly have the weapons to be a great offense still. And at some point, the mental dam has to break for the Jets defense being like, how much can we hold this dude up? Yeah, they couldn't even win the game that he played well in. Like
They're on the field a lot.
the solar eclipse happened and they missed it.
They're on the
Like,
field a lot.
it's just, do you feel
Tell me
great
tell me when
about?
it tell me when it gets worth it to you. -7.5, plus 122. I'm just going down a point. 8 plus 134. 9 plus 144. 10 plus 172 over 10 and a
10
half.
and a half.
190 at 11 and a half. So you want it 10 and a half plus 172.
Yeah, I like that.
Were you asking me what I think about it? Was that your next question?
No, I was just saying continue to give me numbers, but I'm all ears for you, baby.
I don't. The only thing that the Eagles can't do well right now on defense is stop good wide receivers who have good quarterbacks.
Well,
They
that's
got
not
one
going to
of
be
the
an issue
two.
in this game. Yeah. Like I agree with that sentiment. Let me know when that affects the New York Jets.
Yes, and
Like I think they have a great wide receiver. I also
he's
think they
awesome.
have the worst quarterback in the National Football League. So
Yeah, yeah. If Dobbs is 30, Wilson's probably 32.
who's 31?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Yeah.
Oh, Kenny Pickett maybe
Kenny Pickett's been
by the
ass.
skin of his teeth.
I
Do
gotta
you
say, Kenny Pickett had such a great preseason that everyone decided not to look at his numbers from last season.
he
I
how
can't
they won
believe.
that game?
By the way, I can't believe we fucking lost that
I
Ravens
I
Steelers
didn't
game.
want to. I
It's
was waiting.
it's happening in real time, and I'm like, this is exactly how it should go.
I saw
Except
it happen.
Lamar Jackson is apparently ass. Like what?
No, and he wasn't. He was asked on
It's
one play,
receivers. I
right? He
know.
was asked on one play, and it was just it's a wild ending. We're not getting into that. I just want to know if you use any of the same logic in that Titans Ravens game where you go, the Titans just got to London. The Ravens have been there
Oh,
since like Monday.
well, let me tell you about the one that I'm definitely taking in that logic. By the way, that's another reason I don't feel so great about Buffalo. Right? Like
Traveling back.
I'm not feeling so hot because they just played in London.
Yeah.
Um, but Jacksonville's coming back
Yeah.
from 10 days, and they're giving up 4.5 to a Colts team that has Gardner Minshew, which is like passable. Now you can pass against them, but like the Colts are fine. And everything I'm reading out of Jacksonville is like Doug Peterson being like, it's so much worse coming back. So much worse. We do this it's so much worse coming back. And this time we stayed. I'm reading every article. It's just the Jacksonville Jaguars bitching about how hard it is to come back for 5 hours. And again, I do this trip to the UK multiple times a year. It's so much worse coming back. It's way
You think
worse.
so? I'm
Getting
so the
there.
opposite, but I mean, it's definitely personal
That's yeah. Well,
for me.
I'm pretty sure that the locker room is not unified on the issue in terms of their circadian rhythms. Like, I just 4.5. Okay, my hesitation is yes, the Colts aren't very good. They're fine. They're fine. They're a fine football team. They're well coached. Concern is they haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014 when Andrew Luck was their quarterback. So like that's a problem. Once a year, every year, 2014. It's been a goddamn decade. But Gardner Minshew back in Duval County, that matters to me. Like that's like a big FU game. Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked like that guy. They really had to lean on Travis Etienne in London. I just don't think that's a sustainable model for success. He's a really good player. I just don't think it's sustainable. I don't think he can't be schemed out of whatever it is he just did. I'm just looking at 4.5, and I'm saying it's a little tight. It's a little tight. I feel like the market's a little, I think it might have been 6.5 if they're not coming back from London, maybe 5.5, probably more like 5.5. But I'll take the 4.5. I'll take it. You're giving me more than a field goal, division game, Jacksonville coming off of jolly old London, England for 10 straight days, coming back, got to sit in the heat. No, come on. Give me the Colts all day, every day on that one. And then finally, yeah, this is a different kind. I'm in on the Chargers, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but they're getting 2.5 at home against the Cowboys. And I watched the Dallas Cowboys quit against the 49ers. This is one of the great perks of like being in the stadium for games like this. You can tell when teams actually quit. And it's only happened once in my entire professional career where I've seen it in person. And you'll remember this. It was when Ben McAdoo's New York Giants showed up to play a winless San Francisco 49ers in 2018 or 2018. And the Giants were hell-bent on getting Ben McAdoo fired that day. And it still took a couple of weeks, but they were hell-bent on it. Yeah. And the way that you see them quit isn't just the lame arm tackles and the lack of pursuit. It's the weird angles. Football is a trigonometry, baby. It's all about weird angles. And the safeties were just taking weird angles. It's not the same angle they were taking in the first quarter or the second quarter. It's just they're just given space. They're given birth on the highway. And that's what the Cowboys were doing in the second half against the 49ers. They lost their juice. They lost their spark. They're given wide berth. And then I said, I got to go to this locker room after the game. I got to be in there. I got to hear what these guys are saying. And what they're saying is everything. There was no unified message about what the fuck just happened, which I get. Like, you just got absolutely punched in the mouth. It's going to be confusing. But you got Dak Prescott coming up there and being like, we put it all on the line and we lost and we got to reevaluate everything. Like, we got to start from scratch. Like, clearly we're not the team we thought we were. Like, we must suck. We got to build this thing up from bottom. And luckily we got some time, which is a reasonable take. Then you got Mike McCarthy and
I
CeeDee
knew
Lamb
it.
saying,
I wanted to interrupt you and go, and what did Mike McCarthy
and
say?
Mike McCarthy's like, wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad. Don't know
Yeah,
what
we're
you
gonna
guys are
we're gonna
talking
we're
about.
gonna regroup. We're gonna tweak a few things and look at Tafel.
Just, it's just a couple small things. You got Micah Parsons saying, I don't think they're that much better than us. You got CeeDee Lamb saying, I got no problems with our offense. I think we're going to be just fine. And, like, by the way, getting pressed on it because it's Dallas media. They're about it. Like, good on them. I like the Dallas media because they, like, actually give a shit and ask tough questions. And you guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about? You just got spanked. Dak threw 3 interceptions. He had one very nice touchdown, but 3 interceptions. It was just a complete clusterfuck. How could you think we're not that far away when that team just gave you the business for 4 straight quarters? Their second stringers were giving you the business. You guys look like you quit. This is the kind of loss that I firmly believe ruins seasons. Because the Cowboys are a team, especially when you're defense heavy, when you're kind of like defense first, they're a team that rides on confidence. Like, defense is all id. It is all just, I'm the man, I'm out to kill. Confidence. Everyone's got a screw loose. Everybody is out there just trying to, like, prove they're masculine. Like, it's not a normal mindset for a human being. That's every single defender has to have that. And the Dallas Cowboys, they fly around, man. They are nothing but id. They're awesome. And now that is entirely shattered. It just has to be. You can't build that shit back up in a week. You can't. And I know that the Chargers have a lot of problems. Well, actually, they have one problem: their head coach,
Right.
and that he's just not very good. But man, like, Justin Herbert's going to carve these dudes up. They don't have Leighton Vander Esch, who is a very
Yeah.
good player.
Big.
That's a
hurt.
big deal. Like, I think the
Micah
Chargers have
Parsons is
enough
going to
off
be
it.
looking over his shoulder for George Kittle the whole
Yeah,
game.
I just like, I'm interested to find out how right or how wrong I am on this because I feel very strongly about it. It's not a logical take by me.
No, it is.
It's just the kind of game that ruins teams.
Yeah.
This team thought they were a Super Bowl contender, then they ran up against an actual Super Bowl contender,
Yeah.
and I just don't think that you can unify and coordinate a squad that has this much mental disparity and is coming off a loss like that. It's just going to be in the back of their head nonstop. And the
Yeah.
Chargers are just good enough to take advantage. You're giving me, I like the Chargers straight up, first and foremost. You're giving me the points. I'm taking the points. I'm going to take both of them.
Yep. Me
By
too.
the way, another national TV game.
Yep. Yeah. Obviously, my 2-word retort, if I was making it, which I'm not because I'm agreeing with you, but if I were to be on the other side of the aisle,
Yeah.
Brandon Staley. However,
Yeah.
I also, look, who's going to out stupid who?
I mean, it's not
Like,
it's not going to be the finest moment for NFL coaching.
it's not. It's not going to be too deeply intellectual. That's not fair to Brandon Staley, but
if the Chargers were 2.5-point favorites, I'd stay away from this.
Really?
You would take it still.
I think I would. I think I think as long as I got under 3 for them, I would.
I agree with you, but then I'm going to agree with your Brandon Staley argument. It'd be
But
like, no. Logically speaking, the Chargers should be home field advantage favorites in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that much difference between the two teams.
It'd be
But
amazing.
like, Brandon Staley's like egregious.
What if the Chargers, the Cowboys, and the Raiders played some form of 3 teams on one field football, and their head coaches had to figure out how to do it? We're talking about like Josh McDaniels, Brandon Staley, Mike McCarthy coaching. That's a hilarious game I would watch.
I mean, they should all play at SoFi because every team would consider it their home field.
Yeah, it would be all their home field. Yeah, the Cowboys would legitimately
it's going to be a Cowboys home
it
field
is.
advantage.
I get that. The Chargers
night.
don't play they haven't played in front of a home crowd in a long time. Everybody
like that doesn't bother me with the Chargers. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't, because it's different when it's like a team like the Rams or it's stuff like that when you expect to have the home crowd behind you and you go out there and suddenly it's like all blue. Like, that's upsetting. Steelers have gotten
or the
massive boost from that. Niners do it as well.
Yeah, Packers.
Packers didn't really show
also,
up in Vegas, it should be noted.
Yeah, what was that about, dude? I was like, where's all the cheeseheads? That was part of why I was like,
there were a lot of cuts to Raiders fans, and usually there's like 4 of them that they can find at their own stadium.
That was crazy, dude. That was crazy because the Packers travel as well as any fan base outside the Steelers.
It's just Monday night, and they got jobs.
Crazy. The other thing, Bosa's back. Derwin James is back. Their defense is going to look a bit better. So we'll see what happens there.
Staley can draw up a defense every now
Yep.
and again.
Yep.
He's done some
They'll be all right.
interesting stuff on the defense side. He'll
And
be a good defensive coordinator for somebody.
I don't like yeah, he will be. Didn't mean to step on that one. I
No, it's
don't
all good.
think that the Cowboys offense is that good. I'm not that impressed by it. We've been definitely dealing with sides. I think we've got some good ones in there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna ride with you on what you're talking about
Okay,
here
so
with the Jags. Run
Chargers
it
plus
back.
2.5,
Yep.
Eagles -7. That I'll play up to 10.5.
Yep.
I like the Colts plus 4.5. I'm just taking that one, just the 4.5. I like the Niners at whatever you can get them for my sides, and I'm gonna take Seattle 2.5
Okay.
at Cincy. So
Worth it.
I'm on the record with a few things here. I'll take the over at 45.5 too. Fuck it.
Yeah, I like that. I might try to convince you later that you should just take like the Seahawks -2.5, but we'll talk about it another time. Do
Minus,
you?
yeah, no, I know.
I want to throw player props out there for
Hit me.
everyone and just get them out because we've been like 9-3 last week, dude. Plus 5.8 units on it.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, we should have led with this because this is where we're bad.
it's okay. I mean, that's the beauty of editing. I can just put this in the front. Welcome to no. Okay, so going into player props, I already told you that I'm just like flying high with Jamar Chase and Kenneth
Yeah,
Walker the third as well. Um,
I like that over in
Zay
Florida.
Flowers has been at 48.5 yards or less like this whole season, and they finally put him up to 56.5 yards. And I go, dang it. And I don't even think it's because the books figured it out. I think the books looked at the same numbers that I looked at, which everyone looks at, and that is
A lot of targets.
the pass defense and the targets that he's up against. Like if you're going to
Mhm.
get 12 targets and be fourth among wide receivers in target share
Yeah,
with that team, with that passing offense, plus now you're talking about playing this Tennessee defense that is bottom 5 in
it's brutal.
every defensive passing metric that you could worry about.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Like it seems pretty easy to me at 56 and a
Yeah.
half that you take Zay Flowers, right?
My general consensus is that I'm not touching the Ravens until I have some idea of what the Ravens are.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's a very logical take. I think the
Yeah.
fact that the books are already kind of in on it, or that they finally figured it out this week, it gives me a little bit more pause on that.
It
So I
makes
might lay
sense.
off the Zay Flowers for a week, just throwing that out there. Let it come back down. Let it come back down.
I just need a little more Zay, baby. I just need a little
Yeah.
more, just a taste.
Yeah, I think
And I got a
I
good
think
matchup. That's
Lamar is
why.
hoping for a little bit more Zay too.
Mm.
Like, hey, buddy, 2 hands.
Yeah, please, man. You got tiny
2
hands.
hands.
Yeah, you have tiny. And well, to be fair to him, he tripped last week.
You got little Kenny Pickett hands.
I feel like I'm just going right back to talking about the Giants. So James
Yeah,
Cook over 56.5 yards. You can still
okay.
get plus money on a touchdown. I really like the touchdown because I might take 2 for him once again at like plus
Mm,
750 because the one
okay.
is still plus money, so I love it. The thing is
Mhm.
like he was getting some carries vultured, and maybe I won't. Maybe the two is getting greedy because he's got Damian Harris
He's
and
getting
Josh
very
Allen.
greedy. Yeah.
And Josh Allen.
Yep.
Both of those dudes are going to be taking some goal line carries from him
I
because they're
like
going to
1.
be living
I
there.
don't disagree with 1.
Yeah.
2's too much.
Two's too much when you've got those other dudes. Two's not too much for Jamar Chase, who's going to have 18 targets. 2 is too much for James Cook, who's not going to have more than 3 red zone carries.
Yeah.
Now,
I ha
he's gotten
I
3
have Jamar Chase at 15 targets, 1 touchdown, and 115 receiving. That's the line. Whatever you have to do to make money off of that exact number, because that's what's happening.
You can make money. That's 30 yards off of what his receiving prop is. You can make
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
with Jamar Chase.
Rat it up, baby.
Definitely.
Can I throw some anytime touchdowns at you?
I love them. Yes. And one of these guys is on my fantasy football team. Please go.
Yeah. Okay. Jacoby Myers plus 210.
So
I don't want to watch the Raiders play football, but you know who runs over the middle to his own detriment physically?
Mhm.
Jacoby Myers. And if you're playing the Patriots, guess what? Your number 1 receiver doesn't get the ball. And our friend Devontae Adams, he hasn't been getting the ball anyway, but like, do you think Bill Belichick's going to let that happen when everything is on the line for Bill Belichick? He's doubling down. Is safety on the top, bracketed, you ain't getting shit against me. And that means you can have all the Jacoby Myers 7-yard slants you want. And that is just manna from heaven for Jimmy Garoppolo. If the Raiders get into the end zone, it's Jacoby Myers 7-yard slant, guaranteed. Now, listen, I'm not saying that, other guys couldn't score. I'm saying there's probably not going to be a lot of touchdowns in this game, I think, for the Raiders. I think this game is going to be egregious. I don't even want to take the under because it's like tempting fate. But I mean, the Raiders have won 2 games scoring fewer than 20 points this year.
How is this total at 41.5?
Because both offense, like at some point, they have to break through, and maybe these are the two teams you can't. It's bad. It's bad. But I like Jacoby Myers. He's clearly Jimmy Garoppolo's number one option. I think you're probably going to have to go through the air to get a touchdown. Plus 210 all day, every day on that one. Justice Hill plus 260 for the Ravens. I know I just said I don't want to take the Ravens, but Justice Hill's the better running back. He's the better running back, and there's plus 26 out there. Take it.
Yeah.
Just take it. He's the better running back.
Yeah,
and
plus
Jerome
300
Ford.
for him, right?
What's up?
Plus 300 for Justice Hill's touchdown?
No, plus 260.
260,
but not far off.
Okay.
And then plus 300 for Jerome Ford, who's the lowest anytime touchdown scorer for the Browns, who, listen, they might get in the end zone. And it's probably going to be Jerome Ford, who I think is just going to have a monster day because, like, hey, PJ Walker, you're back there. What are you going to do? I don't know. Give it to Jerome. Just get the ball out of my hands and give it to Jerome. So I like Jerome Ford this week. I like a plus 300 anytime touchdown. Get him out in open space. Who knows what can happen? I mean, it might have to go in from 30 or 40. But I think it's doable. I think it's really possible. Now, I also like 49ers defense anytime touchdown at plus 500.
I love that. Who's it going to be?
If you
don't have to get it right.
Tashawn Gibson. Safety Tashawn Gibson.
Time stamping that so we can use it later. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know about Jerome Ford.
No,
what's that?
Gibson. It's Gibson. I like Gibson better in the open field.
Oh wow, you're galaxy braiding this.
I have a plus 500 Niners anytime touchdown. You don't think I just gave you plus 210, plus 260, plus 300, plus 500? You don't think I'm galaxy braiding this?
You're doing
everything
great.
We talked about how I'm trying to keep it simple. I threw it out the window.
Yep, I love that.
Not a week for keeping it simple. It's a week for the galaxy.
Exactly. Like you said, we've got money to play with. I have to take Jerome Ford over 13.5 receiving yards. I'm probably going to, I think we got a Lander ladder in the works is what I'm hearing.
Oh, I love it. Let's climb it, baby.
I hate that you gave it to me though. I wish I had thought of it. Damn it.
Let's climb that ladder.
Oh man.
Take me up to betting heaven.
Oh baby. I'll just climb the Lander ladder straight to heaven.
How high, what is the final rung before you start getting queasy on the land?
Well, you know, I freaking wussed out on Rashi Rice and didn't go for the 10-1 on the 70 plus yards, and he got 72. So I'm not gonna let that happen again. I don't have that on FanDuel yet, which is what I have open. I can pull up DraftKings.
Just give it to me conceptually.
Oh, conceptually for Jerome Ford, good call. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm overthinking that.
45.
I think I would go 40 over 40.5.
40.5.
I would go like I might as well just take 15 plus 20. It's probably 15, 25, 35, 45.
Yeah. Do you feel good about 45?
If I can get over 40.5, I'd really love it. I'll take over 45.5. Yeah. No, that's crazy.
You're closer to 45 than you are to 35.
I'm like
I just take the
35. Man. Yeah, I'll just take the 35 and walk away. Yeah.
If you can bet it up a little bit, bet it up a little bit. But like,
yeah, that's what I'll do.
40.5 sounds good.
It does. I don't know if I'll
get it. Have like 8 catches.
Yeah, he should.
Now the issue. This is something to keep an eye on with the injury report. Like Fred Warner's there. Obviously, Fred Warner spends most of his time worrying about the quarterback. The guy you got to worry about with running backs is Dre Greenlaw, who I would make the argument has been a better linebacker this season. Is also a raving lunatic. Really nice guy, but like he plays. You remember the Boz? Like there was this myth about how Boz played, and he never really did that in Oklahoma or certainly in the NFL. Like Dre Greenlaw plays like people thought the Boz played.
Right.
Like he's out there taking heads off. He really should have like the Brian Cox neck brace thing on the back. Like that's the level. He's basically a movie linebacker.
They're an endless vault of defensive talent. It is absurd. And
he might not play this week was my point. And if that's the case, then you feel a little bit better about your own Ford.
Yeah, that would be way better.
Though their backups are very good.
Yeah, they are. And Dre Greenlaw settled down. He's like not tackling people when they're already out of bounds anymore.
He did a suplex on the first drive against the Cowboys, got away with it and said, okay, that's how it's going to be. And then proceeded to decapitate 3 different men. Yeah, I mean, it's really enjoyable watching him play football.
Yeah. But Jerome Ford's still going to get 30 plus receiving yards.
30, yeah. If you can get that, that 35, I'd take it. I'd take it, especially late.
I'm going to recap everything so we have it here. and just throw it out
boy.
there, right? And
Yeah.
you tell me if I forget something.
Okay.
We've got a tease for the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills so that we get the 49ers at -4.5. We get the Buffalo Bills at -8.5. That gets us -120. We've got a parlay where I bought half a point for the Niners, bought a full point for the Bills. That gets us +224. Got a full unit and a half on that. You are taking some sides here as well. List those off for me, please.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles -7 at the at the Jets. I will take that all the way up to 10.5 on the alternate line, and I'm going to take that right before kickoff. I just want to see where this thing goes. I think that people might bet it down a little bit. There's a lot of Jets love for some reason. If I had to throw in a little something extra, Jalen Hurts above 227.5 passing yards. Just throwing that out there. Not putting that on the official record. Just saying if you're feeling saucy.
It's a lean.
I got Colts +4.5 at Jacksonville. 10 days in jolly old England. Not going to do so well for our friends, the Jaguars. I got the Chargers +2.5 at home against the Cowboys Monday Night Football. I'm going to leave my Niners bet off just because you've already taken care of it for us. And give me Seattle +2.5 at Cincinnati. And I'm taking the over at 45.5 as well. Those are the official sides this week. God help us all.
God bless us all. Player props as we roll out. Zay Flowers still going over 56.5 receiving yards for him. Kenneth Walker, anytime touchdown. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. First touchdown. 2+ touchdowns. All three of those in the books.
Saucy.
James Cook, anytime touchdown. I'm realizing we might as well parlay that with the money line. You can do a player performance double. If you think he's going to score, just tack on the Bills to win and get a little bit more.
Fair.
And then James Cook over 56.5 rushing yards. And you had a few as well.
Jacoby Myers +210 anytime touchdown. Justice Hill +260 anytime touchdown. Jerome Ford +300 anytime touchdown. If they're going to get in, it's Jerome Ford's business, baby.
It's going to be all Jerome, baby. I love it. Dees, thanks for coming on again, man. It's always a blast. We keep killing it.
As long as we keep killing it, I'll keep coming on. The second that we stop killing it,
to say that.
The second that we stop killing it, I'm blaming you.
I'm going to lie to you. I don't think you're going to keep track of any of this, so I'll just tell you we did better than we did.
Yeah, tell me I didn't.
Damn it. He's got the notes. We got receipts, baby. All right, well, we're going to be on back hopefully next week. Don't tell me if you're not coming on this time. Let's just keep people thinking you are so we can keep getting winners, and we'll go from there.
Dieter Kurtenbach, anytime appearance, +212.
I'm taking that. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Good luck with this week on everything football. Like I said, if you do want to make sure you're getting all the picks, social media is a place to do it. At JL Boogie everywhere. Land your bet stuff. He's at Dieter everywhere as well if you want to follow him. Not that he's putting too much out, but he's watching. He's always watching.
I've put nothing out, and I don't know my log. I don't know my login anymore.
He's always watching though. So until we do talk to you guys next, happy betting.